One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing they can figure everything out on their own. That kind of thinking keeps you struggling longer than you need to. There are people who have already made the mistakes, who have already learned the lessons, and who have already paved the way. Learning from them saves you time, energy, and frustration. But you have to be willing to humble yourself and listen. Some people are too prideful to seek wisdom. They think asking for help makes them weak. They don't want to admit that they don't have all the answers. But the truth is, real strength is knowing when you need guidance. Real intelligence is understanding that there's always more to learn. The most successful people in the world are still students of life. Always looking to gain new knowledge, always surrounding themselves with people who can teach them something new. If you want to grow, you have to be willing to change your environment. You have to be willing to step out of your comfort zone and put yourself in spaces where wisdom is flowing. That might mean joining a new group, attending events, or reaching out to people who inspire you. It might mean leaving behind certain habits, certain conversations, or even certain relationships that no longer serve your future. The people you choose to be around will either push you forward or pull you backward. Life is the real test. School gives you lessons and then tests you on them, but life tests you first and teaches you later. Every challenge, every setback, every mistake is a lesson disguised as a test. The problem is, most people don't see it that way. They get frustrated, they complain, they ask, why is this happening to me? Instead of asking, what can I learn from this? That's why some people stay stuck in the same situations over and over again, because they keep failing the same test without learning the lesson. Every situation you go through is trying to teach you something. When you struggle with money, it's teaching you financial discipline. When you deal with difficult people, it's teaching you patience and communication. When you experience failure, it's teaching you resilience and adaptability. But if you ignore the lessons, life will keep giving you the same test until you pass. The people who grow, the people who succeed, are the ones who pay attention. They don't run from challenges. They embrace them as opportunities to get better. The way you handle life's tests determines what level you get to next. Some people see problems and let them break them. Others see problems and use them to build strength. The difference isn't luck, talent, or intelligence, it's mindset. If you believe life is just happening to you, you'll always feel like a victim. But if you understand that life is testing you to make you stronger, you'll start approaching challenges differently. Instead of saying, I can't do this, you'll start asking, what do I need to learn to get through this? That shift in thinking changes everything. Some people wait for life to get easier, but life doesn't work that way. The problems don't stop, you just get better at handling them. The only way to get better is by learning from every experience. The people who succeed are the ones who take the time to reflect. They look back at their mistakes and figure out what went wrong. They analyze their failures and make adjustments. They don't just move on without thinking. They study their own lives the way a student studies for an exam. That's why they keep progressing while others stay stuck. Life's tests come in different forms. Sometimes they come as setbacks. You lose a job, a business fails, a relationship falls apart. Sometimes they come as opportunities disguised as challenges. You get a promotion you don't feel ready for. You're asked to lead something outside your comfort zone. You're given a chance that scares you. Every single one of these situations is testing whether you're ready for the next level. The people who pass the test are the ones who step up, figure it out, and grow through it. The ones who fail are the ones who let fear, doubt, or frustration hold them back. Most people think success is about talent, but talent alone doesn't get you anywhere. Plenty of talented people never make it because they didn't develop the mindset to push through life's tests. Discipline, perseverance, and emotional intelligence matter just as much as skill. That's why you see people with less talent rise above people who seem more gifted, because they learn how to handle life's challenges. They didn't quit when things got hard. They didn't run when things got uncomfortable, and they didn't stop learning when they hit a roadblock. Some of the most successful people in the world failed more times than the average person even tried. The difference is they treated failure as a lesson, not a final result. They used every setback to gain wisdom. They understood that life wasn't trying to break them, it was trying to shape them. That's why they kept going when others gave up. The truth is, life is always going to test you, but every test has a purpose. It's either teaching you something you need to know or preparing you for something greater. The only way to fail is to ignore the lesson. Take responsibility for growth. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to do the work for you. If you want to grow, if you want to improve, if you want to build a better life, that responsibility falls on you. Too many people go through life waiting for the right opportunity, waiting for someone to guide them, waiting for luck to come their way. But waiting doesn't create results. Action does. And the sooner you realize that your growth is your responsibility, the sooner you can start making real progress. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't happen just because time passes. Some people think that just because they're getting older, they're getting wiser, but that's not true. Growth requires effort. It requires intention. You have to make the decision every single day to get better, to learn something new, to challenge yourself. If you're not actively working on improving yourself, then you're staying the same. And if you're staying the same, you're falling behind. Nobody is going to hand you knowledge. You have to go get it. Nobody is going to teach you everything you need to know unless you seek it out. Successful people don't wait for information to come to them. They go after it. They read, they listen, they ask questions, they surround themselves with people who can help them grow. They don't make excuses about why they can't learn something. They find a way to learn it. That's why they keep moving forward while others stay stuck. Some people say they want to grow, but they don't want to put in the work. They want the results, but they don't want the process. They want success, but they don't want to go through the discomfort that comes with learning, failing, and adjusting. Growth isn't easy. It requires discipline. It requires sacrifice. It requires doing things you don't feel like doing. But that's the price of improvement. If you only do what's comfortable, you'll never grow beyond where you are. People who take responsibility for their growth don't make excuses. They don't blame other people for what they don't know. They don't wait for someone to teach them. They figure it out. They take control of their time, their habits, and their mindset. They understand that nobody owes them success. If they want it, they have to earn it, and that starts with personal responsibility. One of the biggest traps people fall into is thinking that they'll grow when their situation changes. They say, I'll start learning when I have more time, or I'll work on myself when life gets easier. But growth doesn't wait for the perfect conditions. You have to start where you are with what you have. If you're waiting for life to get easier before you take responsibility for your growth, you'll be waiting forever. Your growth is in your hands. It's not up to your boss, your parents, your friends, or your circumstances. It's up to you. You decide how much you learn. You decide how much effort you put into improving yourself. You decide whether you stay the same or evolve into the person you were meant to be. And that decision is made every single day through your actions, your choices, and your mindset. Consistency is the key. Most people don't fail because they aren't talented or smart enough. They fail because they aren't consistent. They start something, but they don't stick with it. They get excited about a goal, but when the excitement fades, they stop putting in the work. They make progress, but then they get distracted, discouraged, or impatient and give up before they reach the finish line. Success isn't about what you do once in a while. It's about what you do every single day. People love to talk about their dreams, but dreams don't come true just because you want them to. They come true because you put in the effort, day after day, even when you don't feel like it. It's easy to be motivated at the beginning when everything is new and exciting, but real growth happens when you keep going long after the excitement is gone, when you wake up and don't feel like doing the work, but you do it anyway, when you don't see immediate results, but you stay committed. That's what separates the people who achieve their goals from the people who just talk about it. A lot of people think success is about big dramatic moves, but it's really about small, consistent actions over time. It's about showing up every day and doing the little things that add up. Reading a few pages of a book every day will make you smarter over time. Saving a little money every month will build wealth over time. Working on your skills every day will make you better over time. But the problem is, most people don't have the patience to stick with it. They want results now, and if they don't get them right away, they stop. The people who win in life aren't always the most talented. They're the ones who keep going. They show up and put in the work even when nobody's watching. They practice even when they're tired. They keep learning even when they already know a lot. They don't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect move. They just do the work. And because they do it consistently, they get better, they grow, and they succeed. Some people convince themselves that they're just not lucky or that things aren't working out for them. But if they really looked at their habits, they'd see that they're not being consistent. They start and stop, they get excited and then quit. They work hard for a little while and then lose focus. That cycle keeps them stuck. Consistency is what breaks that cycle. When you commit to something and stick with it, even when it's boring, even when it's hard, even when it feels like nothing is happening, that's when real progress starts to show. Discipline beats motivation every time. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline is what keeps you on track. You won't always feel like doing the work. You won't always feel inspired. But if you train yourself to be consistent, you won't need to rely on feelings. You'll just do what needs to be done no matter what. That's how you build momentum. That's how you separate yourself from the people who give up too soon. The truth is, the results you want in life are waiting for you. They're on the other side of consistency. But you can't just put in the work for a few weeks and expect to see life-changing results. You have to commit for the long haul. You have to understand that the work you do today might not pay off right away, But if you keep showing up, keep improving, and keep pushing forward, eventually everything will fall into place.